Thanks for checking out our channel here. This is going to be a kind of a rebuild, retrofit, not really DIY, but make your own fence charger kind of video. This particular unit actually works really well. The transformer is bad in this thing. They no longer make a transformer, and we're going to have to take the guts of this unit and we're going to move it into another case, and I'll explain why here in just a minute. I started making a repair video on this one a week or so ago, but I talked to the customer and get their approval on what they wanted to do. So there's information right there. So if you got an old PEL or an old Gallagher or any old fence charger you want to send us to repair, it's old style, new style, we'll definitely take a look at them. We get free quotes, so we don't charge anything up front to look at them. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe, will you? I've got 1,000+ videos on YouTube. I give all this information out for free, so the least you could do is subscribe or at least hit the like button. Alright, so this is a PEL 609. It's a 90s model unit. Customer that owns it, or the sent this in, is the original owner to it. And this is a really slick, PEL as a company or a brand is still around, not in this capacity. They got bought out by either Speedrite bought them out, or Tru-Test, who owns Speedrite. They bought them out. Anyways, the brand kind of got dissolved production wise with these kind of models years ago, and they're still around as a company, brand wise they are, but they're only sold over, as far as I know, over in Europe. And all they are is a blue colored case Speedrite, which is red. So they're just, they just change the color of the case and put PEL's name on them. But they've owned PEL brand for 20+ years. It's not like this is out of nowhere. So the reason why we have to move all the guts over, come on. That screw was in there pretty tight. Is the transformer hides right down in this area here in the bottom of the unit, but it is encased in epoxy in the base of the unit. So you can't get the base anymore. It's all been discontinued and everything. Now, what we're going to do is, this thing's kind of built in stages and layers, and this is going to be I think a difficult one for me to do, because I'm going to need to get my pen and paperwork and paper out. I'm going to need to start, because I can't take pictures while I'm doing this. I mean, I can, but I need to jot down where each wire goes to which spot of the board, because see, it's not really labeled, that sort of thing. So we gotta take care of that. So I need to get I got a pen, make sure it writes. That writes. I need to find a notebook or something. I usually have one sitting around where I make notes or draw things down. But give me a minute. Let me go dig around here for a second. Find me a notebook. Okay. So got me a piece of paper or a big notebook here. I'm gonna write down PEL 609 PEL 609 wiring. Okay. Now I need to get some snips out here, and I need to start cutting some of these zip ties so I don't get any of these wires mixed up. I can separate things out so I know where everything's going. This may be like a 2 or 3 part video, depending on how long things go. Okay, because there's another board back behind here, and I forgot about that one. That, I think, is part of the what do we call it? It's a take the board out there. It's a multiplier board. Like, it builds a charge up gradually, that sort of thing. And I'm sure, I mean, these are old school units. This is a very old unit. Very old way of doing things, but man, very, very reliable. Okay. Man. They didn't really want you taking this stuff out of there, did they? Well, they probably assumed it would last a long time. And, of course, it did. Okay, now we get that out of there. Okay, yeah, this is their multiplier circuit. You can see they do a combination of a bunch of capacitors and the diodes over there. It's a, I don't know what kind of quadrupler, I don't know what kind of multiplier circuit it's got in there, but anyways, that's what that is. You got the thermal fuse there. Okay, so let's see. I need to see. Get my meter out because I got to do some continuity checks here because I need to figure out where our AC. Because I got these black and white wires here, and I also got these black and white wires here. I think so. I'm not sure. So we'll take our plug and we're going to go from one of the prongs to it's either one of those. Okay, so this. Okay, so I'm going to label and put down multiplier board is what we're going to call this. And we may end up trying to keep some of this stuff intact like this. I'm going to pull the screws out of it, put those right there. Because we may, to save some wiring connection stuff, we might try to keep some of this stuff together. We may just have to extend wires, move wires. I got a new waterproof case that I'm going to put this in. It's an outdoor type. The guy wanted me to put all this stuff in here because we're going to have to retrofit a different transformer, and that's down here. Okay, so we've got 4 tabs. We're going to label them. Get a silver marker out. I'm going to label them 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 is a red, 2 is white, and that was AC. And 3 is black. Now I gotta figure out if that's our other AC, because there's another black wire there too, so I need to make sure I label this right. So I'm going to go back to my plug. I'm going to pick. Okay, so they're both tied to AC. So what's that all about? Okay, so it comes through one side of the so this one is directly, this one here, number 4, is our AC, but ties in there through this resistor and this thermal thing. So number 4 is a black wire. That's also our AC cord, or whatever I'm going to call it. And then this black wire, so we're going to label this over here. Some dead bugs on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll put the same thing on board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the black wire So make another one. Put down main board. Put down main power board. And we're going to have down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this red wire here goes to number 1 for power board. Put down that. So we'll put down red from MB for multiplier board. Alright, then number 3 black wire, or number 3 spot here, goes to number 2 PB for power board. Number 2 is black from number 2 and number 3 of the multiplier board. Alright, number 3 wire, our connection spot is blue. That goes down to capacitor. Number 4, ooh, where the hell's that go? Oh, these are our primary. It looks like probably going to our transformer. So we're going to put down white for now. And then this last one here has got 2 connection points. It's got 2 black wires. Okay, 1. So we've got, yeah, I'm sure that these 2 bigger gauge wires are going to our transformer. So we got black. Put that's to the transformer. I'm just going to put that down for now. I can always change it. We'll put out 5A, 5B. 5B is I'll put on big. So notice the big wire, big black wire, and then put down small black wire. But that wire is coming from, oops, is capacitor. This is probably a transformer. Alright, so far so good. We've got the wiring kind of figured out. The capacitor's all wired up the way it needs to be. So we can start taking out the board. Because this unit works great. There's nothing, even these capacitors, being as old as they are, read almost perfect. Because I've already done some checks on this before I talked to the customer, so I know what's wrong with it. Everything's fine with the unit. It works great, clicks, pulses, snaps, everything's supposed to, but the transformer down below is what's bad. So now we can lift this. There used to be a little thing holding the capacitors here, which I didn't put back because there was no reason to. But God, I'd be able to get these capacitors out of there. That one's loose. This one, it's it's just got this sticky stuff in it. Yeah, see, I think there'd been dead bugs or something. You know, it's got this. It's not, the capacitors themselves are not leaking. There's no swelled spots on here. It's just a residue. It's all over the top of the board. There was like this dead bug ant stuff, so it's probably turned into some kind of tar looking stuff. You can see those residue of dead bugs in there. Alright, so now we are going to, I'm going to snip some wires. Keep it as long as they are, so plenty to work with if I need to reuse them. Cut the blue wire. The capacitors are all wired in parallel, they're all good to go. Now we'll just snip off these. Alright, now we can get this big thing off there. This comes off right here. I'm sure that this unit was costly to produce. Just the labor it took of wiring this thing up, putting it all together, all the plastic compartments. I'm sure it was not a cheap unit to produce, and probably wasn't a cheap unit to sell. So there's this compartment. It's going to basically go away. But there's a transformer right down here. You can see it's encased in an epoxy down there, and it clicks and fires and everything. You know, the transformer's taking in the energy, but it's only putting out like 1,000 volts out of it. And I got to look at it, there's a crack in the center of the epoxy, and if you could see in there, a lot of the winding of the transformer, you can see it's kind of frayed out a little bit, split. So that's, you know, another telltale sign that that transformer is bad. All right, so the next thing I need to do, I need to get the fuse holder stuff out of there. We're also going to remove the transformer that we're putting in there. Doesn't have a secondary winding for a half power, because this has you know, ground, half voltage, full power, whatever, half power, full power. Customer did not care about the half power. He said, I never used it. He said, I wanted all the power I could ever get out of the thing anyways. So I was like, well, okay, well, if you don't care about that, I don't have to worry about trying to figure out what we're going to do there. So we're going to reuse his knobs, and we're going to reuse everything we can off the unit to keep from having to buy anything part-wise new, you know, hardware and all that stuff. Now we're going to have to figure out ways to mount the board and all that fun stuff, because we're going to have to probably drill some holes and put some plastic washer or spacers in there. We're probably going to have to do stuff like that, which I was prepared to do that. And I got a big enough case or whatever that I think we'll be able to do all that, you know, without having to buy. We'll have plenty of room to work with. And I said, you got to put this unit inside or outside? He said, well, it's probably going to be somewhat outside. I said, but can you know, I got power all over the place in different places. I said, can I have an option of, you know, mounting it? How can we mount this unit outside? So I had to, well, they got two, 3 different options. They got a pole mount, side pole mount bracket thing, which basically is this big hose clamps. You got that one, and then if you wanted to mount it to a side of to a wood post or to a side of the building or whatever, they've got screws, or, you know, holes in the case that you can run some wood screws into a wooden post. So he's like, that's perfect. That'll be just great. So I was like, all right, well, that's what we'll buy then. So I marked the case up by $10. And we charged him a bit of labor to do all this, and we charged him for the one part so far, and he was fine with it, because the replacement unit of this style, of this size, and reliability is expensive. And so there's plenty of other stuff out there, but man, you're not going to get the reliability that you get out of some of this other stuff built today. And so he'd had this thing for a long time. Was pretty set on trying to reuse it, because I mean, 90% of the unit is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It works great. Minus the transformer being bad. Like I said, the transformer hides down in this big block of epoxy. You can't get it out of there. Okay, now let's let's get this out of there. Okay. What's that doing? What are those screws doing? What's that holding in place? Nothing. Nothing. Okay, put my little notebook up for a second. Let's get this had 2 fuse holders. We're going to actually, let's see, maybe we can try to reuse all this stuff. Let's see if we can pull. Okay. All right, make sure I got these labeled right. 4 is AC, 2 is AC, so I can snip those off. I can always reattach them. So put that, try to keep that like that. We might be able to use, maybe use some of this stuff here to secure it in place. Let me, before I forget, let me write on the board in case I have to mount it vertically where I can't see. I'm going to write on the board 1, 2, 3, 4, so it matches up with that. I'm also going to write on the back here 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it depends on how I mount it, I'm not going to be able to see where everything's at. I want to be able to make sure I don't leave any stone unturned. Alright, well there's the fuse holders and all their glory of stuff. Alright. Okay, we might end up reusing some of this other wiring. We'll just have to see. Okay, so let's get this other plastic case over here. Make some room. This is a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger stuff. A little bit bigger case. But I didn't measure how big this one was. I just wanted the factory one, but I wanted to get something that I knew was going to be big enough to house everything. Now this has a bunch of crap comes with it that we're not going to use. It has this little fan, little 12-volt fan, and he said he's not going to worry about that. These things don't get all that hot. You don't have to worry about the heat. It does come with a shelf, which I don't think we're going to use. There's those big hose clamps that you run through the back of the case back there, and it threads through. You have to, loosen it all the way up, thread it through, and then you cinch it up, and then cinch it down around like a round post or a square post if you want. There's mounting hardware if you needed it. There's, I think, stuff for mounting that to there, which I'm not going to use, or some like cord wire bushings. I think this is I don't remember now. It's for something, but I don't think we're going to use most of that. All right, so I'm going to probably just leave that there. There's the vent on the side there. Okay, so you can put either fan on the left side or right side. I'm just going to leave it on there, but we're not going to connect it because this is going to be an AC unit, and he didn't have to worry about 12-volt battery and putting it in there and all that stuff. But it was the price was right for him, and it gave the guy multiple options of mounting it outside. So I've also bought a kit because I didn't know what all we were going to need. I bought this kit here. It comes with a bunch of these things, different sizes. I don't know what we're going to need, so I bought these are way too big. But I bought a whole bunch of them, but like a multi-size thing. I don't know what they call these things. These are cord cable glands, they call it. That's the name. I think there's some kind of bushing gland thing. Okay, so now we have to figure out how we're going to lay this out. I'm going to put these things off the side. We don't need those right this minute. That's going to be for the customer to use anyways. I've got the paperwork here for my notes. Here's capacitors. There's the main board. This is a plastic compartment, so we don't have to really worry about shorting the board out to anything because it's all plastic. So plastic doesn't conduct. But we need to make sure we have things laid out the way that we want to. Where's that multiplier board at? There it is. So the only other part we need is the transformer, which we'll probably put right here. Probably have, there's a couple spots at the bottom here. One right there, one right there. That's where we're going to put those glands at, I guess. And that's where we'll put whatever we call it, the fencing ground. Let's just maybe we'll do something like that. Or we can, I don't think we'll mount it to the front, because if he needs to open up the case, open it up, I want the wires to be pulled way out. So probably just put it down at the bottom as well. We'll figure it out. Let me go grab a transformer that we're going to use for this unit. Okay, this is the transformer that we're going to use. This is a Power Wizard transformer. It's made for up to, I don't store joule wise, probably 20 joules. It's used up to an 18 output, so probably 20-25 stored. So it should handle the energy. The cords are going to be a bit short, so we're going to have to do a little soldering and splicing. I'm going to get my soldering iron warmed up because we're going to have to get that out here in a minute. So, well, why don't I stop this video now? I'm going to kind of brainstorm a little bit how I want to do this, and I'm going to start in on a second video. So if you want to watch along on that deal, I'll put I'll probably stop the video, make another one, and then we'll upload that one right afterwards. So, so bear with me. It's going to be a little bit of time for you, and going to be a split second for me.